We live in a world that prizes output and endurance. Everywhere we turn, we hear the same advice: push harder, stay disciplined, never stop grinding. Yet the moments that define mastery rarely come from pressure, they come from alignment. When effort relaxes and awareness takes over, something extraordinary happens. The state is flow. Flow is not mystical chance, it's a real neurological condition. During flow, the prefrontal cortex quiets the nervous system and everything balances, and your focus becomes laser sharp without strain. The body acts with precision while the mind observes calmly. Instead of struggling to control events, you move in harmony with them. The problem is that we confuse focus with force. We try to think harder, concentrate longer, and power through fatigue. But focus achieved through tension collapses quickly. True focus is rhythmic. Flow occurs when energy, attention, and biology operate together, not when they compete. At the level of the brain, the cooperation shows up as synchronized electrical patterns. When neurons fire in harmony, information moves efficiently. Creativity, accuracy, and insight all rise. What feels mystical is actually your biology performing at its most coherent frequency.
Your brain is constantly producing electrical waves. These brain waves are measurable patterns that shape every state of mind. Each range of frequency corresponds to a distinct way of experiencing reality. Alpha waves represent relaxed alertness, calm but awake. They make it easier to absorb information and connect ideas. Theta waves move more slowly and open the door to imagination and intuition. This is the range linked to meditation and creative visioning. Gamma waves are much faster. They integrate perception and understanding across different brain regions. When gamma peaks, insight feels instantaneous. Flow happens when these frequencies interact smoothly. Alpha steadies attention, theta expands access to the subconscious, and gamma fuses it all into clear execution. The brain stops wasting energy on internal conflict, and the result is effortless precision. Researchers using EEG technology have mapped this pattern repeatedly. Musicians improvising, athletes in motion, and even surgeons in long operations display the same rhythm of synchronization. They aren't trying harder, their systems are just aligned. And from a conscious creation viewpoint, this alignment is also energetic. When thought, emotion, and physiology move together, you broadcast a steady signal to the field around you. The clearer that signal, the faster reality organizes to meet it.
This is where neuroscience meets conscious reality creation. Flow is not about escaping life, it's about entering it fully. When the mind's frequency aligns, inner division disappears. You stop thinking about the moment and you start being the moment. Quantum research suggests that observation influences outcomes. Flow is that principle made practical. In coherence, you become the observer and the action at once. You're not pushing life forward, you're resonating with its motion. That's why timing feels perfect and effort feels light. The key shift is to stop asking, how can I force results? And begin asking, how can I align with the state where results arise naturally? When you learn to align first, outcomes follow without strain. That's the difference between control and coherence, between effort and flow.
No two people reach flow in the same way because every nervous system has its own rhythm. Some minds slip easily into flow through stillness, others through movement. A poet may find it in silence, A designer through gentle background noise, a teacher through conversation. Discovering your rhythm means observing when you feel most alive and effortless. What time of day do you focus best? What activities erase your sense of time? Which environments calm your thoughts? These clues form your personal blueprint. Once you recognize the patterns, you can recreate them intentionally. Flow stops being accidental and becomes accessible on demand. High performing individuals know this. They repeat conditions that consistently open that state. Same time, same setting, same ritual. They're not waiting for inspiration, they are generating coherence. Understanding your blueprint also deepens conscious creation. You begin to see that alignment is not something to chase externally, but something you can cultivate internally at will.
Once you understand your natural rhythm, the next step is learning to enter flow deliberately. The brain responds well to cues, small, repeatable actions that signal safety and focus. There are four that make the transition easier: priming, ritual, environment, and transition. Priming prepares the nervous system. Before starting deep work, spend a few minutes breathing slowly or closing your eyes and settling the body. The goal isn't to empty the mind, but to slow it. When breathing steadies, beta activity, the fast, restless state of analysis, gives way to the calmer alpha and theta ranges. These slower frequencies are where imagination and steady attention coexist. Ritual provides consistency. Performing the same brief routine before creative work trains the brain to recognize that sequence as a starting gate. It might be stretching, writing one line of intention, or listening to a specific sound. Over time, these cues create a neurological shortcut to flow. Environment either amplifies or interferes. A clustered or noisy space keeps the brain scanning for distractions. A clear, comfortable setting with balanced lighting and predictable sound allows the system to settle. You don't need a perfect environment, just one that feels stable and safe enough for the body to to release vigilance. And finally, transition is what maintains rhythm. Moving from task to task without pause forces the brain to adjust abruptly. A 60-second reset between activities, a breath, a stretch, a quiet moment, lets the previous neural pattern fade so the next can form clearly. Used together, these steps create a reliable bridge into flow. You're not hoping for the right conditions, you're training your biology to cooperate.
With practice, these techniques strengthen the connection between calm and focus. That's neuroplasticity in motion, the brain wiring new pathways through repetition. Each successful entry into flow reinforces the pattern, making it easier to return. What once took 15 minutes of preparation eventually takes only a few breaths. To sustain the state, balance immersion with recovery. The nervous system functions like a wave. It peaks in focus, then requires rest. Ignoring the down cycle leads to burnout and creative fatigue. Brief breaks, natural light, movement, and sleep are not luxuries, they are how the brain restores chemistry for the next period of coherence. Another key is emotional clarity. Flow depends on presence, and presence can't coexist with suppressed tension. Before you begin work, take a moment to check your emotional baseline. Are you carrying frustration or self doubt? A few steady breaths or simple reframing can clear that noise. Coherence thrives in an uncluttered emotional field. As you continue, flow becomes more familiar. You start noticing that focus arrives more quickly and stays longer. Even ordinary tasks feel smoother because your system recognizes coherence as normal. This is how temporary performance becomes a long-term way of being.
When flow becomes habitual, your relationship with effort changes completely. You stop chasing motivation and start managing frequency. Because you spend less energy resisting, creativity becomes sustainable. You notice that opportunities and insights begin to appear with perfect timing. This isn't coincidence, it's resonance. The more coherent your internal state, the more responsive the external world becomes. You're transmitting a clear signal that the field around you can easily interpret. From a conscious creation perspective, this is how reality reorganizes around intention. You're not forcing events into alignment, you're aligning yourself so events unfold naturally. This shift is subtle but profound. Instead of trying to predict outcomes, you work on stabilizing the conditions that make alignment possible. That's the real science of manifestation. Not endless affirmations, but nervous system coherence.
Long term, the goal is to raise your baseline frequency so that what used to feel extraordinary becomes your normal state. Every visit to flow slightly rewires the brain towards stability and ease. Over time, alpha and gamma activity remain higher even when you're resting. That means intuition and clarity are available without special effort. You can cultivate this growth deliberately. Spend 5 to 10 minutes each day practicing coherence, breathing evenly, focusing on a single image or phrase, or visualizing your desired outcome with calm certainty. Consistency matters more than duration. These small sessions strengthen the brain's ability to sustain harmony between thought and emotion. When alignment becomes your default, manifestation accelerates. Thoughts move through a clear channel and reality mirrors them more quickly because there's no interference from mixed energy. Flow stops becoming a moment of peak performance and becomes the baseline for conscious living.
At the surface, flow enhances productivity, but beneath that, it reveals a deeper truth. Consciousness and biology are two sides of the same process. In flow, you're not thinking about creating, you are creation happening. The division between observer and action disappears. You realize that awareness itself is the mechanism of manifestation. Living this way changes how you define achievement. Success stops depending on control and becomes a byproduct of coherence. When you're aligned, events unfold in rhythm with your focus. When you are scattered, progress feels forced. The difference isn't external effort, but internal order. This perspective redefines mastery. The master isn't the one who dominates circumstances, but the one who has stabilized inner frequency. Outer results follow naturally because reality responds to consistency more than intensity. Every thought, emotion, and behavior is a broadcast. When those broadcasts agree, the signal is unmistakable.
That consistency brings a quality of ease that often surprises people. Flow doesn't erase challenges, it changes how you meet them. The same energy that once fueled anxiety becomes available as clarity and timing. You begin to trust your intuition because it proves accurate. The feedback loop between mind and experience becomes visible. And over time, you notice how coherence extends beyond work and into every area of your life. Conversations flow more smoothly, decisions come without hesitation, And even rest feels productive because it restores rather than distracts. You stop searching for balance because balance becomes your natural set point. This is also where creativity deepens. Ideas arrive complete instead of fragmented. You don't have to force insight because you're attuned to the level of mind where solutions already exist. The more you inhabit this awareness, the more reality reflects it back as opportunity.
Modern life fragments attention. People juggle constant input, messages, notification, tasks, and that fragmentation scatters energy. Flow is the antidote. Each return to coherence gathers the pieces of awareness back into one functioning whole. It's mental integration expressed as calm focus. When you live from that integration, you rediscover choice. Instead of reacting automatically, you respond deliberately. You stop chasing time and begin reshaping it. Paradoxically, productivity increases not because you're busier, but because you waste less energy on resistance. That's the practical power of flow. It converts energy lost to tension into energy available for creation. The same principle applies in conscious reality creation. When you maintain coherence, you stop broadcasting mixed frequencies. You project clarity, and clarity rearranges the field faster than effort ever could.
At its deepest level, flow reminds us of unity. It shows that thought, emotion, and form are not separate. They are different expressions of the same living field. And when you inhabit that truth, the need to prove or compete fades. You begin to see life as a collaboration with consciousness itself. This understanding doesn't remove discipline, it refines it. You still act, plan, and build, but your actions come from resonance rather than resistance. You're no longer fighting for alignment, you're maintaining it. And that's what it means to create consciously, to participate with awareness instead of control. If you take one message from this talk, let it be that flow isn't rare or reserved for the gifted. It's a natural human state waiting beneath distraction. The more you practice coherence, the more accessible it becomes until it feels like home. If you found this exploration useful, please like, subscribe, and share it with others interested in the intersection of science and consciousness. And until next time, think differently, dream boldly, and create consciously.